Manchester United receive 3 bids for Mason Greenwood. Shock potential deal for Guirassy. And apparently Manchester United are eyeing up a bid for Amadou Onana. These are some of the stories we will be discussing on this morning's live show. But before we get into that, please smash a like on today's video and subscribe to the channel. If this is your first time watching, we are live every single day at 8:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. UK time. So make sure you get involved. Only 50% of people who watch our videos are subscribed. So if you're one of those people who isn't subscribed, please do get involved if you want to keep up to date with all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Right, let's start the show off by talking a little bit about Xerxes. Because I know everyone is getting quite frustrated with this deal, thinking, why is it taking so long? Is he coming? Is he not coming? I get it. It's frustrating. It is frustrating. But in relation to Xerxes, the update this morning is that apparently Manchester United are willing to pay the release clause, which is £34 million. They're willing to pay an agent commission, but they're not willing to pay £12 million. Apparently Manchester United have offered somewhere between £6 and £8 million to Joshua Xerxes' agent as a commission. So that's effectively money that he will get to facilitate the deal. He'll just pocket that money, which I know is a bit questionable, but that's just how football is these days. Apparently Xerxes wants to wait until after the Euros to decide his future, which I don't really understand personally because he's not even playing. He's just sat on the bench, but I guess he wants to focus on the Euros. I don't know. I know sometimes in international tournaments they have like closed training sessions and closed camps, if that makes sense. So like the players aren't allowed to speak to people outside of the training thing, but I think that's rubbish, to be honest. Like, surely Xerxes' agent can message him and say, "Do you want to join Manchester United?" And he can either write yes or no. You know, it's like, yeah. But the Netherlands play today, so we might get a glimpse of Joshua Xerxes today. Maybe, obviously, I think the Netherlands have already qualified for the round of 16, so maybe we'll get to see a bit of Joshua Xerxes in action later on today. But at the moment, we are effectively just waiting. His release clause becomes active on July the 1st, which is Monday, so in about 6 days' time. So my understanding is that this week Manchester United will effectively try and agree on personal terms with the player, how much money he's going to be paid, how long the contract's going to be, and then on July the 1st they'll go and trigger that release clause. So all being well, I think we will get Joshua Xerxes, to be honest. AC Milan are still interested, but apparently they're not willing to pay the agent commission at all, which has apparently frustrated Xerxes' agent and has created a bit of turmoil between AC Milan and Joshua Xerxes' agent. So it looks like maybe the AC Milan interest is probably going to die off purely because they're unhappy about this agent commission, which I get it. It is frustrating that this is the way that football's gone, but, that's just where we are. But let me know what you guys think about Joshua Xerxes. Just realised my microphone was in the wrong place. There we go. That should be better now. Let me know what you think about Joshua Xerxes. Would you like to see him at Manchester United? Do you think he's the player we should be looking for? Be really interested to see what other Manchester United fans think. And I also want you to let me know, how much do you think Joshua Xerxes is worth? Let me know in the comment section. Like, what's the absolute max that you would pay for Joshua Xerxes? I'm pretty happy with 34 million plus maybe 6 million agent commission, taking the total deal to 40 million. I think that's more than fair. When you compare his stats versus what Rasmus Højlund had achieved, I think Xerxes quite a lot further in his development, isn't he? But he still is a raw kind of fresh talent though, if that makes sense. So yeah, but at the moment, the 3 clubs who are mainly linked to him are Manchester United, Arsenal and AC Milan. Manchester United are currently the favourites to sign him. Then it's AC Milan, then it's Arsenal. But obviously crazy things can happen in football. We might wake up tomorrow and Arsenal might have triggered the release clause and he might have, decided to move there. The information I got this morning from someone was that apparently he does want to play Champions League football. And obviously Manchester United can't offer that. AC Milan and Arsenal can. So there is a bit of a potential that, if AC Milan or Arsenal do seriously want to get this deal done, then he will pick them, which is a bit frustrating, but I don't know. Like, I kind of get it in some ways. If you want to play Champions League football, then coming to Manchester United, you don't get that. You will not be playing in the Champions League. It's as simple as that. You'll be playing in the Europa League. I mean, even the club he plays at now, Bologna, they're in the Champions League. So effectively, he will go from he'll go from Bologna to Manchester United and play Europa League football, which is worse than what he will be playing at Bologna. But you have to remember, we're going to massively increase his wages. At the moment, he's only on about £20,000 a week. Man United are apparently willing to pay him about £100,000 a week. So there's all these different bits to it. And we'll wait and see what happens. But I do still think we will get Joshua Zirkzee. But it's just a waiting game now. Everyone who's just joined the video, if you could do me a small favour and smash a like, that would be really, really appreciated. We're trying to hit 200 likes on today's video. So if you have just joined the stream, please do give it a thumbs up. And please do make sure you subscribe as well. I think we're only literally 5 subscribers away from 24,000 now. So if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe. Let's try and hit 24,000 by the end of today. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Somebody says, I don't think Zirkzee is interested in coming to Manchester United. Yeah, it's possible. Brian says we should go for Tony. I do like Ivan Toney. I just think, if we bring in Ivan Toney, it's going to massively hamper Rasmus Højlund's development. That's the reality of it. Digital Sports Update says Zirkzee will end up going to Arsenal because Arsenal can offer him Champions League football. Yeah, I mean, it is a possibility. Yeah. Don says nothing will happen until after the 1st of July. Yeah, that's true, mate. Because of the profit and sustainability period. The 1st of July is a really, really key date for a lot of clubs and transfers, because up to that point is when the profit and sustainability period restarts again. So I imagine a lot of deals will start happening next week, because you have to remember, right? Our first pre-season match is literally in 2 weeks' time, which is crazy. And I would hope that Manchester United would have at least 2 signings through the door by the time pre-season starts, because that's always been our problem in the past, hasn't it? That we'll do the pre-season tour, but we don't have any players to go on it. It's all the old players, some of them that we want to sell. So we desperately need to make sure that we have at least one centre-back, a midfielder, and probably a striker ready for that pre-season tour. Otherwise, it's just going to be, very, very frustrating. Alex says, honestly, I'd give Wheatley a bigger role. I think he's ready for the step up, but I do understand that if Højlund gets injured, it may be too much for Wheatley ATM. Yeah, I definitely think, giving someone from the youth academy a chance would be the sensible option. But as you say, if we over focus on youth players and then one of our senior players gets injured, either it works and, we create a new start, or we really struggle. And, so it is a big risk. And for a club of Man United's size, you can't be going into the season with just one senior striker. You need at least 2, I think 3. But yeah, keeping on the topic of strikers, I want to talk a little bit about Guirassy, because there's been a big update on his future. This is coming out from Plättigol, which is obviously Sky Sports German journalist, very reliable for the Bundesliga, very good around. He's like a tier 1 journalist for the Bundesliga, and he is reporting this morning that Guirassy has decided to leave Stuttgart. It says Guirassy has informed Stuttgart that he does not want to play for them next season. And it says that Dortmund, AC Milan, Arsenal and Manchester United are in the race. He says Chelsea are out of the race. So there's a lot of interest here for Guirassy. Would I go for Guirassy? If it was up to me and I had, the control of Manchester United, I would probably sign Guirassy and Zirkzee, because we lacked goals last season and we need different options. So I think 3 strikers at Man United, it isn't I think that's what we should be having at a club of Man United's level. Guirassy's an older, more senior player, and Højlund and Zirkzee are younger options. So yeah, I see 0 issues with having 3 strikers, but it'll be interesting to see what you guys think about that. What happens if one player gets injured and we've only got 2 strikers? If Højlund gets injured and then we've only got Zirkzee all season, then I guess you can bring players through the youth, but still, I think, for a club of Manchester United's size, we should definitely have 2 or 3 striking options, in my opinion. But it'd be interesting to see what you think about that one. But obviously, yeah, as I said, with Guirassy, there's a lot of interest. Arsenal, AC Milan, Chelsea were interested in him. Dortmund are interested in him. He has got a release clause, which makes the deal a little bit more easy to do. But yeah, I don't know. The release clause is around £15 million apparently, which is absolutely nothing in the current market. When you think Ivan Toney, they want about 60 million for, right? He's 28 years of age, Ivan Toney. Whereas Guirassy, 28 years of age. Last season, Guirassy scored 28 goals in 28 games in the Bundesliga. Whereas Ivan Toney last season, I know he'd been banned from football for a little while and it was his first season back and all the rest of it. But Ivan Toney only scored 4 goals last season in 17 games. Guirassy scored 28 goals. So I think he's an absolute bargain of a player for whoever signs him for £15 million. Maybe Man United go for him instead. You know, maybe they say that the Xerxes deal is too expensive. You know, £40 million, including agent fees, plus wages, plus all these other things. Whereas Guirassy for £15 million, it's a pretty good deal. But I'll tell you what we should do. Let's do a little poll, shall we? And you can let me know in the comment section as well. So we'll do this. What would you prefer? So we'll do Guirassy for £15 million. What's the other guy called? Xerxes for £40 million. Everyone smash a like on the video whilst I'm setting up this poll, would you? That would be very much appreciated. Okay, cool. All right, the poll's set up, and the question is simple. What would you prefer? Guirassy for £15 million or Xerxes for £40 million? Let me know your answers in the comment section and get involved in the poll if you are live. I actually think that for Man United's current position and for our current budget and all the rest of it, I actually think Guirassy would be a better signing, to be honest, because, you know, if we're being told that we don't have much money, we're going to have to sell to buy and all the rest of it, right? 15 million on Guirassy will allow us to probably sign another player, right? Whereas this 40 million on Xerxes, that's like going to be one of our main signings this summer, isn't it? You know, we might only end up with a centre-back, a striker and a midfielder. Steven says, add Jonathan David too. He is a good option. Yeah, Jonathan David's another option. Man United are apparently looking at that deal. He's available for around £25 million, which is, I think, quite good. 24 years of age. Obviously plays football for Lille in the French league. Got 19 goals and 4 assists last season, which is pretty decent. Again, there is a lot of interest in Jonathan David. You've got Chelsea, Aston Villa and Manchester United. Do you know what's mad, right? You could sign Jonathan David and Guirassy for the same price as what Xerxes would cost. Because apparently Jonathan David's valued at about 25 million because he's only got 1 year left of his contract. And Guirassy has a £15 million release clause. So 25 plus 15 is 40, right? And Xerxes is 40, including the agent fee. So that's an interesting one, actually. I would probably go with that if we could. If we could get Jonathan David and what's he called? Yeah, but that's another one for you guys to let me know. Let me know what you think about that one. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Amadou Onana then. Okay, cool. Somebody says, is Jonathan David any good? Yeah, Jonathan David's decent, mate. He's a decent player. He's been quite prolific in the French league over the last couple of seasons. I think he'd be a good signing. For some reason, some people don't like him, but I think he's decent. You know, he's 24 years of age. The last 2 seasons, he's scored 19 goals, 24 goals, and the season before that, he got 15 goals. So in the last 3 seasons, he got 15 goals, 24 goals, and 19 goals, which is pretty decent. I know he's playing in the French league, which obviously isn't as high a level as the Premier League, but he does have some good attributes. So I would be quite interested in signing him. Katie says, if it's Guirassy instead of Xerxes, then no. Digital Sports Update says we need 7 signings this summer. Yeah, I mean, 7 signings is probably a little bit optimistic, mate, but we can hope, we can dream. Alex says, I think... Oh, dog's up here. Come on then, dog. Up you come. Up you come. Oh! The dog's broken her way up. Let me say hello. 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 Sorry, the dog's come up the stairs. Go on, dog. Off you go. Right, where were we? Okay, let's move on from that though. Let's talk a little bit about Amadou Onana then, shall we? Because the story from Manchester Evening News today is that apparently Manchester United have sent an offer to Everton for Amadou Onana. It says the Belgian international has been strongly linked with Arsenal, but United have apparently submitted a verbal offer of £46.5 million with a further £4.2 million in add-ons. I really like Amadou Onana. I think he's a quality player, but I don't think Manchester United will go for him, personally. I don't know. Yeah. But imagine if we got Amadou Onana and we got Branthwaite. That would be amazing, I think. But I just think that Everton are being so difficult with Branthwaite. Surely they're going to do exactly the same thing with Amadou Onana. Oh, sorry. Yeah, like those are effectively their two best players, aren't they? Amadou Onana and Branthwaite. They're not going to want to sell them for cheap. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see if that one does, pick up any momentum. But, yeah, I'm not too sure whether Man United will end up with Amadou Onana, because the information I've had is that apparently Arsenal are leading the race for Amadou Onana. They really, really want to sign him. He's their number one target. So, yeah, I don't think Amadou Onana will come to Manchester United, but we'll wait and see. Steve says, when do you think we'll get our first signing? I think it will be next week, mate, I think. Somebody else says, Rabiot is a better centre midfielder than Onana and is free. Yeah, that's a fair point. Very fair point. I would definitely sign Rabiot. I think he's quality. I know he's 28, 29, but yeah, I definitely think Rabiot would be a really, really good signing. He's got obviously that experience. He's a leader. He's got that mentality, which a lot of these players don't have. So yeah, I think it'll be an absolute no-brainer to bring in Rabiot. I personally would like Onana, but I don't think we have the money to be buying someone like that. Johnny says, but Rabiot will have at least a £10 million signing on fee and huge salary. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point, but if you're paying 50 million for Amadou Onana, and versus 10 million for Rabiot, I think, it still is a good deal. But we'd obviously have to wait and see. Obviously, Rabiot's a free agent, so he can effectively ask for whatever he wants. I'm sure there'll be some clubs coming in saying, we'll give you X amount of money, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But let's talk a little bit about Mason Greenwood then quickly, shall we? So the news this morning is that apparently Manchester United have received 3 offers for Mason Greenwood. One from Juventus, which I'm not sure about how much the offer was. One from Lazio, which was apparently 20 million euros, which was rejected immediately. And there was one more that my brain's just gone. Who was the other one? Napoli, that was it. So Napoli, Juventus and Lazio have apparently all submitted initial offers for Mason Greenwood. Manchester United are asking for £40 million, which I think is completely fair. I think he's definitely worth that. Will Manchester United get £40 million? I don't know. Probably not. Because the thing with this deal is, right, if Mason Greenwood gets back to the quality of what he was at Manchester United, he's going to be worth probably £80 million, okay? So a lot of the deals that Man United are asking for is with a massive kind of sell-on clause. So Man United are apparently asking for a 50% sell-on clause, which would mean that, say Juventus sold him for 100 million in the future, Man United would get 50 million. And I think a lot of the clubs are put off by that because they want effectively to make all the money. But yeah, Mason Greenwood will leave Manchester United. It's a matter of when, not if. There are lots and lots of clubs interested. There are apparently talks going on right now with these Italian clubs and Manchester United. So I think by this time next week, we'll probably know where he's going to go, how much money we're going to get, which is good. I think, we need to move on from this period. We need to cash in. So yeah, that's a good bit of, progress. In relation to Jadon Sancho, though, it's gone very, very quiet. Apparently, a lot of clubs aren't willing to pay the £50 million that Manchester United are asking for. Jadon Sancho is on crazy money as well. He's on about 250k a week, which, a lot of clubs aren't going to be willing to pay. If you look at Juventus, for example, who are apparently interested in him, Juventus's highest earner at the moment is... who is it? Alexandro, who's on 200k a week. So Jadon Sancho would be their highest earning player. I mean, even Rabiot, right? He's on 150k a week. Chiesa's on about 150k a week. So most of their best players are on about 150k a week, right? And this is a club who are in the Champions League, a club who, you know, win the Serie A regularly. So yeah, it's difficult. It's just the same age-old conversation that we have, right? That Manchester United overpay on wages, and then it makes it really, really difficult for them to resell the players because people are like, I'm not going to pay those wages, you know? It just simply isn't possible. So it makes it really, really hard for us to actually regain any value in players. But yeah, it's all just part of what Ineos need to solve at Manchester United. They need to cut the wage bill down. They need to get in young, hungry players who are coming to play for Manchester United and not just coming for a paycheck. You know, that's the reality of it. Amnat says, I reckon Jadon Sancho will just be another loan deal realistically. Yeah, probably, mate. Probably. Somebody says, I think we should take a look at Maximilian Bayer. Yeah, he looks like an interesting option, but I haven't heard that much about him in Man United over the last couple of days. It's mainly Guirassy, Jonathan David, and Xerxes. Those seem to be the three most likely options. But I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I will be back live at 6 o'clock for the evening show. If anything breaks during the day, I will go live as well. I might even do an extra video at lunchtime. Let me know if you want me to do an extra video at lunchtime, a cheeky little lunchtime video. I hope everyone has a lovely day. Thank you very much for joining me on the show this morning. Please do smash a like on the video before you go. Give the video a thumbs up. It really helps to bring more people into the channel. And make sure you subscribe as well. We're only 2 subscribers away from 24,000 right now. So please do subscribe if this is your first time watching. I'll be back later on today. Have a great day, everybody. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all a bit later.